Okay, so I just want to go over today the SPY. Um, I want to go over SPY, what I'm seeing, right? This is currently where we're at now. We're at 587. When we take a look at the PC ratio, PC ratio started off high, starting to decline. We s- also have the VIX starting to decline as well. Here at 2053. Still relatively high, but starting to decline. So is the PC. Uh, we take a look at Koyfin. We see stuff like XLF, XLRE, not at the bottom, right? We're starting to see these more defensive stocks at the bottom, so I think people are more willing to take risks currently at this time. I think this is what this tells us, right? XLP, XLV, XLU, some of the most defensive at the bottom. XLRE, real estate, financials, industrial, tech. Uh, and energy sort of leading the way. Everything's starting to drop off here. We saw a big dump in XLI currently. XLE, so I was looking at XLE yesterday just because of the relative momentum that it had on the RNG chart that it was showing. So I did look for stocks like FANG, um, right? FANG, I think a bottom might have been hit here on FANG. We tapped into this liquidity here, right? I think this might be a good sign, but maybe we can make for another tap there. You see a big put imbalance if you look on the option flow, big put imbalance. PSX also is looking really well. So PSX also strong momentum on the daily, just continuing its momentum. I think a bottom might have been hit, and maybe we could see a break above 129, then 131. So we'll just have to watch out for that. XL left sector, we see everything starting to decline. So I think the PC and the VIX is starting to uh, play its role, right? Showing us what was to come. So I think everything's starting to dump off. I would take a position here. We can get a break past 585. We can get a break past 585, then I might consider a position here. I don't, it's obviously it's just paper trade, but still I like to sort of, just because I'm not in the market, I don't want to just exclude myself from that. So it's a relatively strong drop. If it can continue this trend, then I will look for a position. But if I see any sort of rejection here and bounce, then it might I might not look at the trade idea as strongly as I am looking at it right now. So XLE, XOK, XLF, everything's starting to dump off, it looks like. We'll take a look at the PC ratio, see if there's anything that it can tell us. It looks like it's starting to climb, but I'm just watching this here. Again, I've been trying to use the order flow a little bit more, so trying to see if I can figure out what the order flow is telling me. So I think this green here is telling me uh, if this green shading is a lot bigger than the red shading, then we can see buyers stepping in and vice versa, right? From what I can see here, I think sellers are in control right now just because of the the amount of shading I'm seeing on the right. So I think sellers are in control here. Um, let's see. If I were to take a short position, I just give it a few minutes. I think I might enter right here. So if I get hit right here, then I'll enter. And my stop will be slightly above. And depending on how we do here, I'll either. So what are we at right now? A 1.13 restore word ratio. Oh Lord. I don't like that. It's not dumping faster, right? It's not normally not a good sign. At least for my trade ideas, right? My trade ideas, I usually try to always time those big dumps, but I don't always get that lucky. So check to see what everything is telling us. Order flow. I think buyers might be stepping in here. I don't see any large number of orders around this area where buyers would be reacting as a nope, gotta give it that as resistance. Maybe 500, 2,000. I saw 2,000. So I think we might be moving up unless it just gets absorbed, right, by the sellers. Yeah, so I'm immediately stumped out here. That's all right. This is a paper trade. That's sort of something I have to work on, right? The timing of my entries. What did I see here? I saw a rejection, and of course, like I time it too quickly. I sort of want to force something, right? If that is like the idea, I what I want to do, just to note for myself, is I wanted if I want to take this trade idea and I see this possibly forming, where I would want to take the trade is somewhere up here. In order to allow myself this much like breathing room, right? Whereas if I take it down here, I have to keep a tight stop, and if it does get rejected, then it's a loss. But if I were to have placed an entry somewhere up here, then I could have seen this rejection and just exited the position here, right? So it maybe been up in profit, not much, but still some profit. But see buyers holding that up. So we're one for 0 and 1 for today. Is there something that I missed? PC ratio doesn't really tell me much here. I see it starting to increase, but Yeah, so the just my overall outlook for today. I was looking at energy, I was looking at PSX, I was looking at FANG, um, and just those because I took a look at the RSG charts last night, and uh, it was showing that XLE was sort of moving in with the strongest momentum on a daily time frame. So it's not like a 60 or the 15, but it was a daily. So I thought it would continue to show that momentum unless it had like some sharp, really sharp like uh catalyst of some sort, right? But it did hold up. Uh, again, PSX did fairly well. It was a buy the dip kind of day, not buy into momentum. I guess you could buy into momentum if you bought fairly quickly, but um, I don't like the idea of buying off the first dip. I'd rather buy into strength, but you can't really buy too much into strength and expect these big moves, right? Expect to ca to sort of make the most out of this $3 move. So this is buy the dip. So I think at some point today we might see a dip here. That's probably all for today. I might chart. Let's see if we can find a trade over here on the PC ratio, or not on the PC ratio, sorry, on the NQ or anything of that sort. So I want to take a look at the RG chart as well. I'm going to pull up the RG chart. XLE, strong strength, XOK, tech, um, XLI. So right now in times like this, XLF is holding up, XLE, XOK, XLI, everything else is uh, dumping. So it's just stuff that we want to take into consideration, right? What was holding up? Why was it holding up? So what I want to do is I want to figure out what the market was telling me. XLE, XLK, XLI. I know if I were to look for some information, right? Maybe we could take a look at XLE. Why is XLE up right now? Let's go see what kind of news XLE has. Something that I might be missing here. STR pivot point. Leading and lagging sectors, EOG resources stock falls, Trump tariff, potential stagflation. What's driving markets Thursday? Diamond Energies, it's high fully buyback here's one. So I'm not really seeing the best news. So declining crude inventories, could that be a reason? Q4 profit beat, retail's elated. So we're seeing a lot of relatively positive news. Exxon, Diamondback beat earnings. Um, So just stuff here and there that we could see benefiting XLE. I'd like to take a look at XLK. So hold up, before I do that, let's check to see the what is being where the money is being put into. So large cap, IPOs, hedge funds, private equity, into large cap, small cap core, small cap growth, momentum, growth, value. Are we possibly seeing a small trend, right? Growth, value, momentum, high dividend yield, buyback, spin-offs. So highest here being small cap growth. So a lot of the small caps. I wonder how Intel is doing today, just based off this information here. Right. So small cap tech momentum, just really seeing a lot of money flow being flowed into. Sorry. So XLE is still showing the most strength. XLE, XLI, XLK. Again, I think XLF not being at the bottom of this is a fairly good sign. So we can take a look at SPY. So we're seeing a hold above VWAP. I think that might be a good sign. I think we could potentially see a small dip below VWAP and hold above, probably finish the day above VWAP. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. But XLE is still looking strong, right? When we look at everything else in comparison, XLE is still looking really strong. So stuff like Fang, maybe we could take a look at Axon. This is what I was playing last week, so not doing so well. From 109.34, starting to see an increase, small spike. Chevron is what I was playing last week as well. It's performing fairly well. It's not too bad from 154 up to 157, the high being 157.37. So I did, but yeah, Fang and PSX had the most momentum. That showed the best signs of momentum. So that's why I went with them. Started seeing this trend today, right? The buy the dip sort of buy the dip sort of today. And so there's nothing telling me that, I mean, the PC ratio is higher than I would like it, but it's not in this area here. I might have just been too quick to sort of try to get, see what can happen here. I was sort of too quick, right? I wanted this. I was really forcing this to dip. Like I said, if I did want to see that, if that's something that I was like looking out for, then ideally I would like to aim for up here at the beginning of the move instead of down here. So note to self, uh, if the move is already down here, then I want to see a break below VWAP. If the move is up here, then I would like to see it come down, attempt to break, but a lot more room to breathe with a shorter risk to reward. With the shorter amount of risk, smaller amount of risk compared to here. It might be smaller. I mean, it might be the same, but it's less room to breathe here. So it is starting to fall. Starting to see a small spike here. So here's part two, but it's really holding up. If I can see the BC spike, then I might begin to look for a to take a position there. Again, I'm seeing a lot of buys here. VWAP. If any of you guys use the order book or the order flow on Webull, and you guys have any sort of like tips or anything, please feel free to just like let me know what you guys do. I'm not really liking that sell off. I think sellers continue to try to push it down. Buyers keep stepping in. But based off of what I'm seeing here on the PC ratio and on the VIX, I might be seeing some sort of okay, the VIX is starting to sort of drop here. VIX is starting to drop. We might be starting to see some confidence. If we can get up into this level, then I would want to take a position. But until then, I just sort of need to sit on my hands and just wait, play the waiting game. See if I can go degen on something, man. I need a place to trade. I'm just kidding, but sometimes it's just boring sitting in front of these charts, especially when you don't have like money. You don't put any money on it, but I mean, not here to gamble, so Should have practice. And Q spy, just sort of chopping at this level, consolidating. Think we're figuring out the next move. We could take a look at the radar report and see if we can see something on the radar report as far as where we are on the market. Take a look at the open interest. Take a look at SPY. For the day, I think I see a heavy put imbalance. Could we possibly see anything from 585 to 595? So two areas to be looking out for. Big attraction level at 570. What I think this is I think people are just hedging their positions. This might be good for the long term, right? Like we could see a market bottom soon, anywhere from 570, but I don't know if we'll go past that. But let's check a month out expiration to see what that's looking like. We see a heavy call imbalance or a put imbalance. So it's just put imbalance, put imbalance, put imbalance, um, put imbalance. So market bottom might be in soon, just because of the put imbalance and the everyone hedging their positions. It's sort of gone kind of extreme on every time frame. Every expiration date, the 21st. Just check the 14th, right? So when everybody's going bearish, so we go bullish. The So this is the first one here on the 6th. I think we still have we might have relatively more people betting on the upside closely on the betting on the upside on the short term, which I think might be causing the overall choppiness of the market. We can't dump. We can't completely dump because we have too many people hedging and too many people uh, buying puts, and the overall larger time frames are heavy put imbalance. But we can't pump because too many people on the shorter time frames betting on the upside. So market makers are just gonna chop probably theta decay all the contracts, but we could check to see what the season was looking like for SPY. Maybe see a small increase for SPY up until the third, right? Probably look to take a position and ride it up until somewhere around next week before we see another decline up until March. Um, that's crazy. But then look around March 20th, around this area, March 20th to March 26th. Look to take a position, a long position, right? I think next week we could possibly position ourselves for a short and then ride that. XLE, XLK still leading the way. Small cap growth leading the markets today. Yeah, so we're in this area right now currently. Not really seeing much. A lot of choppiness. You ideally wouldn't want to play these markets, right? This is where I kind of just have to learn, like, not to force a trade. You don't got to get into everything. So, I'm gonna go degen some penny stocks. But PC ratio looks like it wants to come up into this area. Then I would probably look for a position short, but doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon. So I'm probably just gonna call it. And maybe I will do some planning for Monday. So, is there any stocks uh you'd want me to go over? I could go over. I mean, if you're watching up until now, then just comment the stock and I'll review it. Doesn't mean it's gonna be like perfect, but I can give it my opinion.